Welcome to Wellness Tools Reconsidered, a conversation series exploring how proven wellness tools can become even more effective when paired with insight that reduces effort. In this episode, we're looking at mindfulness and meditation, widely trusted approaches that help people regulate emotions, manage stress, and navigate real life more skillfully. These tools work. They've earned their place. What we're exploring here is a simple but often overlooked question. What changes when we understand where struggle originates and how that understanding can make using these tools feel lighter? This isn't a how-to or a set of techniques. It's a reflective conversation about effort, insight, and why the work people are already doing can begin to feel less burdensome without changing the tools themselves.
So I want to start this deep dive by looking at what is really the bedrock of modern mental wellness.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the stack of articles and research we have in front of us, two words just keep coming up: mindfulness and meditation.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And honestly, they deserve to be.
They really do.
We aren't talking about some kind of fad here. This is the gold standard for navigating the noise of modern life.
For sure. These are the tools people reach for when things get overwhelming, and for a really good reason. They work.
They actually work.
Right. And I think it's important we, pause there, because so often we just nod along with these terms without really grounding them.
Well,
before we get into the details, how would you define them? Just, plain English.
Okay, yeah. If we strip away the jargon, mindfulness is just the act of noticing. Simply the ability to see what's happening in the present moment. Your thoughts, your feelings, that car alarm outside. But without immediately trying to judge it or fix it.
Okay, so mindfulness is the function, the actual noticing. Where does meditation fit into that?
Meditation is the training ground.
The gym.
Exactly. It's the gym.
Yeah.
It's the dedicated time you set aside to build that muscle of awareness so that when you're out in the real world, you actually have the capacity to use it.
I love that distinction. And looking through our sources, the value of building that muscle is just huge. When these tools are really working, they create this incredible thing, a buffer zone.
That's the absolute key. The space between something happens and I react.
Yes. Without that space, you're just a bundle of reflexes. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you get angry, you have a worried thought,
You spiral instantly.
Right. But mindfulness steps in and it interrupts that loop. It creates a pause.
It lowers the volume on that emotional amplification. That's why these modalities are so trusted.
Mm-hmm.
They offer immediate felt relief. You aren't getting swept away by the river of your own thought.
You're standing on the bank watching them go by.
Mm-hmm. It creates sanity in what can feel like an insane world.
But, and this is where the conversation in the sources really shifts, there is a very common experience. You see it with people who are doing this work sincerely. They're meditating, they're being mindful, they're doing it all right.
But they're exhausted.
Yes. They're just tired.
It's the effort problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of subtle form of burnout. You see this pattern where people feel calm during their practice or, as long as they're maintaining this high level of vigilance. Mm-hmm. But the moment their attention drifts,
the old patterns come rushing right back in.
Mm-hmm.
The anxiety, the self-criticism, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you're trying to hold a beach ball underwater. As long as you're pressing down, it's fine. But you let go for 1 second.
And it pops right back to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to this feeling that peace requires constant management.
Yeah, you feel like you have to be the CEO of your own mind, just constantly hiring and firing thoughts to keep the whole thing running.
Yeah.
It works, but it's such heavy lifting.
So heavy.
And that heaviness is what caught my eye in one of the books in our stack, The Lens That Changes Everything. It frames this whole struggle in a way that just clicked for me.
Yeah.
It talks about the difference between working downstream and working upstream.
It's a vital shift in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be clear, this insight doesn't replace mindfulness at all.
Not at all.
But it suggests that mindfulness is a downstream tool. It deals with the thoughts and feelings that have already arrived in your awareness.
So you're managing the debris that's already in the river.
Exactly. But the lens suggests looking upstream at the belief structures and the meaning-making that are throwing the debris into the river in the first place.
So if you only work downstream, you're always just catching debris.
You're working hard, but the flow just never stops.
There is an analogy in the notes that totally nails this, the car alignment.
Yeah. This is the best way to visualize it. So imagine you're driving a car with really bad alignment. It's constantly pulling to the right.
Okay.
To stay in your lane, you have to grip the wheel tight and constantly correct it, pulling it to the left.
You're white-knuckling it.
Right. That constant steering is mindfulness. You are using your awareness to correct the car's path. And it works, you stay on the road, but it's just this constant draining effort.
And the upstream insight would be?
Upstream is just fixing the alignment. If you address the underlying belief structure, the alignment, the car just drives straight naturally. Now, you still have to drive the car. You still use mindfulness to navigate the road, but you don't have to grip the wheel with that same desperate intensity.
It changes the entire felt experience. It shifts from this feeling of control, I have to stop these thoughts, to more like recognition.
Exactly. You realize the struggle wasn't because you lacked discipline or you weren't meditating hard enough. It was just a signal of an upstream misalignment. And when you see that, the heavy lifting just kind of drops away.
It's not about throwing away the tool. It's about realizing why the job felt so incredibly hard. And for anyone curious, that book, The Lens That Changes Everything, is actually available for free through the Creative Humanity Alliance. We can drop a link in the notes.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a look if you're feeling that kind of fatigue. The insight doesn't replace the tool, but it really does lighten the load.
A little less white knuckling on the steering wheel. I think we can all use a bit of that. Thanks for this deep dive.
Take care.
As we close, it's worth saying clearly, insight doesn't replace tools. What it changes is the relationship to them. When struggle is understood not as a personal failure, but as something that formed for understandable reasons, effort often softens. The tools you already trust begin to feel more supportive and less corrective. If you already use these practices, there's nothing new you need to adopt. This conversation is simply an invitation to see the work differently and to notice what changes when recognition replaces constant management.